Okay, we'll resume number 2. Remember, I want to let you know these were done 25 or 30 years ago, these black and white pictures. So here's the last video. I had it put away in a area. I finally got it back out, sandblasted the car. What I'm going to do now is take care of that top. You can see that when they were racers, they just laid a 1/4-inch plate underneath there and welded it up and spread some mud all over this thing. Now I'm gonna cut this loose. I'm gonna raise the top up. It's still, I thought about raising it all the way to the back to stock. And then everybody just thinks you got a stock car. So anyway, I ended up cutting it and raising it up. I think about halfway of what it was. I think it's chopped like 1.5 or 1 3/4 or something like that. So it made it more pleasing to the eye as far as I was concerned. And yeah, it's not gonna break the wind as much as it used to, but it looks good. That's what I'm more into, is something that looks good. So I'm just slowly piecing piece by piece back in here, getting the B-pillar raised up. I've got the front up about where it needs to be, putting an angle iron on there to hold it so it's straight, so it will yeah, so the door post will fit good. Here you can see how the door was just put together real quick. Just anything they could shove in and weld it together. Again, they were looking for speed. They weren't looking for pretty body work. They wanted the aerodynamics of it. Piece by piece, just putting this back together. It's a lot easier to chop a top than it is to raise a top, because you got to make all these pieces. And anyway, slowly getting it pieced back together. You see the back post is up now. Here what I'm doing is I'm going to build a roof for it, fill that insert out that they'd cut out. So that was the bead roller that I made special, with a double 1/4-inch bead roll, doing 2 at a time. I want to do something different than everybody else has got out there. So here I am rolling this out. Again, it's just a flat sheet of sheet metal, getting it pressed in. You can see the top has been cut out wider in the front, or on the sides, and that material is going straight in the air. So I welded a piece on there first to get it shooting over to the other side of the car. And now that way I can lay this flat piece in. Found some old bows out of another car that was laying around, and put them in there to help hold and support that roof up there for me. Got the piece cut down to about the right size now. What I'm going to do is start tacking it from side to side and front to back, and work my way to the corners. In the back here, there's a picture. You can see I've cut around my bead rolls, because I wanted to make my bead rollers a little bit longer than what the opening was. So here I've got it put in, all ground down. Here's my rear trunk. Going to build it out of steel. This is my very first English wheel experience. I started cross English wheeling and made a heck of a big mess. Hinges drove me nuts trying to get that figured out, how to make it open and close without hitting the body. Put the two together. You can see all the work on the inside of that trunk. I probably should have threw it away and started over, but I saved it. A lot of heating and shrinking, and anyway, it was a learning experience. Here what I'm doing is building some hood sides. I got the fiberglass hood that I got from the company, and they were horrible. Where the louvers were, they were caved in. There was just no way of fixing it, so let's build a steel one. I had a good pattern to kind of look at. So here I am, folding an open edge there to give it some strength, plus to open up where the louver areas are, and that gives it a nice finished look from the outside. Then I got got some plywood and cut out each individual louver. Made it's a hammer form. I got a top and a bottom that are exactly the same size. Sandwiched the metal together between them. Lots and lots of clamps. So you can see as you go around the corners, that's where it's going to wrinkle up, because you got more material. So I've been working with leather hammers and my own homemade hammer. This is all kind of new to me, but it really worked out nice. I was really thinking, this is great. I can really shape and do what I want with metal. So here's the one done, one getting ready to done. There's the 4 completed. louvers, and then up in the background you can see the other ones. This is the top, made a pattern for the top of the hood. Front corners, I figured that's going to be your biggest problem. So I'm slowly making a piece here, and I'm going to weld this piece onto the other part of the hood. The one side, I don't know which is which, but one side, it took me 4.5 hours to make the one side, and it took me 2.5 hours to do the other one once I finally figured out where I needed to cut excess metal out and shrink and stretch. Here's the top of it, English wheeled, sheet metal brake down the center to raise that hinge area up where the original piece raises up. Piecing the two together, putting that front piece that I made, and getting this all welded up, getting me a hood together. So here you can see I took a cut out of the center. I didn't have any way to shrink stuff up at that time, just a small little shrinker. Putting the grill on the front fenders so I can get them mounted on the car, and I think that's about it. We'll continue on in the next video, slideshow. Anyway, it was a fun journey, and it's fun looking back at these pictures. Again, it was 25-30 years ago. Thanks.